Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode two. I didn't mean to hit record. Welcome to episode 207 of That One Time on Tour. My name is Chris Swinney. I am joined by my good buddy and bandmate from Fire Sale. He's also in Weaver Street. I think you played in Darlington. Did you play in anything else?
I'm the least interesting member of
No,
Fire Sale.
no, that's why I wanted you
So
on. You're the most interesting member.
no, nothing notable outside of Darlington and Weaver Street.
Well, now Fire Sale, fairly
I mean,
notable.
yeah, of course, now Fire Sale.
You wear your own merch. I mean, come on.
I do. I've got my company merch and my band merch.
Well, this I didn't say your name. I'm stupid. Okay, everybody out there, this is Brad Edwards, uh, my other guitar player that I get a jam with all the time, and it's a lot of fun. How you doing, Brad?
I'm good, man. I'm just tired hanging in there.
I had your cousin Matt on, who's another one of our bandmates, last night, and I'm trying to get my feet wet again doing the podcast by basically just having friends on
There
before
we go.
before I have like I don't know, Smelly or somebody on. I wanted to kind of get my interview brain going again, or just my chatting brain. So before we jump into band
Sorry.
stuff or whatever, I'm really interested to hear about what you're doing because when you joined the band, you were working for the Mavericks down in Dallas. You were doing all kinds of different stuff, and then there was kind of a career change there. And I remember when you were first getting into all the photography stuff and the drone stuff for realty. Why don't you take me through kind of how you started that and how it's going? Because man, you're busier than all of us. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have no downtime. Like even just getting this on the schedule is hard, and this is at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So 2018. Or no, sorry. 2024, 5, 4, I don't even remember anymore. 2024, I got laid off from the job I was at. Um, we had just found out that we were having like a oopsie fourth baby, um, at 40. And um uh it was like 2 weeks after we found out that we were pregnant, I got laid off or let go of basically my job that I was at. They just were like, all right, we're just gonna shut our doors now.
Dude, I
Um,
remember being at the Airbnb in Austin, sitting outside with you, and you told me about
yeah.
all this. And I was just like,
Yeah, that's
there's a
right.
picture of us too. I think I'll use that for the artwork for this episode. But there's like a picture of us like saying hi in the backyard of that Airbnb. And that was like right after you're like, hey man, I got laid
Hmm.
off. We're having a baby.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was nuts. So I started coaching. It's there's a whole lot of backstory and stuff, but I started coaching other real estate photographers because I used to do that back in the like mid 2010s. Um, and sorry, I also have this really bad cough. So either you're gonna have a lot of time editing or your listeners are gonna get really annoyed.
I'm
One of
not
the two.
editing shit. They're gonna get annoyed. Dude, that one time on tour is DIY now, and that
I
DIY is
know.
not gonna be me doing 8 hours of
I'm gonna
editing.
try to I'm gonna try to pull a chocolate rain and go away from the mic to cough.
Dude, I've got
Um,
allergies really bad. It's been so hot in Indiana and all the pollen's out. Like I might cough with
yeah.
you, dude.
But anyway, I started coaching other people on how to do real estate photography for a living. And then like I don't know, I think it was August of 24. I was like, why am I just need to like break the camera back out again because I've been shooting, I've been doing photography since like 2003.
Yeah.
Um, so I just decided to kind of break it back out and do it part-time so that Jill could be out on maternity leave maybe a little longer than, just a couple weeks and get back. I was hoping to just like supplement her income a little bit. And then that just turned into like the momentum just kept going and going and going. And like now that's my full-time thing. It's grown into a business with multiple employees and it's crazy. Um, yeah, it's strange to even say.
It's weird from afar because like, you and your cousin Matt and Pedro and Riddle and everybody, like you guys are like some of my best friends, but we don't see each other hardly ever because
Yeah.
we live in different states. So like from going from, that evening at the Airbnb in Austin when we were playing shows to kind of just watch your business grow online.
Yeah,
It was
from afar.
crazy because like every couple days I'd see like this new thing, and then you're going to Vegas and doing like TED Talk kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Speaking at conferences.
it kind of blew my mind and kind of actually made me a little bit jealous because I always thought of myself as like a self-starter, and the podcast was doing like gangbusters for a while, and I was making a little bit of money on that, and I'm doing my own business where I teach, and then I was mixing and mastering. I had like, eight different
Yeah,
pies spinning at one time, and then I just kind of got lazy, I guess. Like I've even like kind of my whole life I've never had depression or really anxiety or anything. And it was weird, man, because the podcast got to be like a job that I wasn't paid well
totally.
for,
Yep.
and it was a lot of work. That's why now I want to do what I did before when it was fun. I don't want to edit it for 8 hours. I don't want to,
Yep.
do crazy artwork. I don't want to have Casper mattress paying me $10 for every 2,000 download. Like I just want to do it. I want to have my band sponsors. So, you
Hmm.
know, I keep my equipment up. I pay for my server. I do all that stuff. And maybe I'll make a little scratch on the side, but I just want it to be fun.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you,
when it stops being fun and it starts feeling like a job, it's just
I
that's
mean,
not it
if I
anymore.
was making thousands and thousands of dollars podcasting, I would have kept going the same way that I was. But it
Yeah.
was like I hit 200 episodes, and I'm just like, man, this is like a job that I'm doing for free. I have all these people that like it and listen. And when we were in Belgium, people were coming up to the merch table and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you do that podcast? You do that podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
Like some guy heard me at Brack Rock in Belgium talking to somebody, and he came up to me and he goes, "Do you have a podcast?" Like he didn't know my name or anything or why I was there, nothing about Fire Sale, but he had listened to my podcast and recognized my voice from like across the field when I was talking to
Yeah.
somebody.
It is
So,
funny, like, because I listened to that episode with Matt,
oh, the new one?
and yeah, I listened to it today while I was out in between shoots and stuff. And it's funny to listen to it now, like after we've become so close,
Yeah.
because it's like I remember before when I used to listen to it way back, before I knew you, before I'd even seen a picture of you. I was like, I wonder what this Chris guy looks like or whatever. And I'd look you, I was like, oh, okay, that's not what I expected, but okay, cool. And then like
Bald,
now I
ugly
just hear
piece of
you on here
shit
as a
with a
friend.
beard.
It's weird.
I'm self-deprecating.
Um, yeah, yeah. Um, so it's interesting to see that cycle too from like our friendship growing. And now when I listen to it, it's like I'm just sitting in the room with you now.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked that. Like when I started the podcast, it was like friends of mine. Like, and it just so happened that a lot of the friends I have are also in really good bands. So it kind of
Exactly.
it kind of snowballed. And then when COVID hit, everyone I asked said yes because all of a sudden no one was busy anymore, you
Yep.
know. And I remember when
Everyone wanted something to do.
I had been texting Chris Shiflett for like 2 or 3 years, and he kept going, "Oh man, I got so much going on. I really want to do it, Chris, but man, I got so much going on." And then out like a couple years ago, I don't know, I think it was like 2022, maybe 2023, when he was on, he texted me on like a Sunday morning, and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to do the podcast? I have COVID."
Oh my God.
He's like,
That was
I
probably about the time that his self or
his solo
solo
stuff,
thing was
like
coming
he
out.
had one single out, but like it was a while before it came out. We talked a little bit about it,
Oh,
but
okay. Okay.
it was just funny, like, because he's like he has like another house at the beach, of course, right? And he was like,
Yeah.
I'm quarantined at my beach house. I'm none of my family are here. I'm bored. Can we do the podcast today? And you better believe it, man. I think I had something else going on. I just canceled it. I'm like, yeah, dude, tell me the time and I'll go out. We'll get it going. So COVID was a big catalyst for my show kind of. It was already doing well. Like it was already I was charting on Apple and all that crap. But when COVID hit, it kind of blew up. And plus,
Yeah.
people were had nothing to do, so they were listening to podcasts, you know.
Yeah. Um, sorry. I am not trying to, this is work. It's, here I am getting distracted by work. I need to just close this. Give me half a second. I'm sorry. You don't have to edit. You can keep talking
A
actually.
half a
Uh,
second?
yeah,
That's already passed, bro.
okay, there we go. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna close this out. If anybody texts me, it's not there anymore. It's
Well,
done.
and here's the thing, man. Like I've wanted you to be on the podcast forever, and we've just never really, I don't know, like I was just a dick, I guess, and I never asked you
No.
to do it.
Again, it's just time. Like it's very hard. I mean, I'm essentially working two full-time jobs. Um,
Pedro's now the only one that hasn't been on the podcast.
has he really not?
I had Riddle on, I had Matt on twice now. Now
Yeah.
now you're on, and I had Butao on like 5 years ago. Who
Did
which
you really?
which
Okay.
if people listening out there, Eric Butao is our stand-in bass player for when Mr. Riddle has other commitments. He plays in Fourth in Line. He used to play in Jughead's Revenge. He played in Death by Stereo. He's a crazy dude. He's way better than me and all of us together.
Yeah, dude's amazing. He's one of
Dude,
those people you just are happy around all the time.
I have a video at the hotel room in Brussels where I like horribly make fun of him and like do his voice. And you start dying laughing, but it's real questionable the stuff we're saying. So like I don't want to post it.
So like normal boot out stuff.
Well, yeah, like he says it and then I repeated it as him.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I would like to not get canceled, you know. So I'm not gonna I might bleep it or something. I don't even remember what it was. I don't even know if you can hear what we're saying, but like I know it's bad.
The Mogwai Coalition might come for you.
The Mogwai Coalition. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about music and stuff, but then
Yes.
I want to test the waters because I have some notes that I took for things that I'm interested in, and I want to get your take.
Nice. Okay.
So musically, I kind of went through it with Matt last night. I want to get, officially for posterity on the podcast, your thoughts on when you kind of were asked to join the band because, you know, we played our first show, the only show we played without you was our very first show.
Yeah.
And you were in our video before you joined the band. And I don't know, I've told the story before. I'd kind of like to get your impression of the whole thing and how it went down.
Yeah, I mean it was it was pretty cool because like you guys came in town to play the show and for anybody that doesn't know, like Matt and I both live like in the same town, so we hang out and whatever. So you guys were there. Obviously, I want to come see you guys and hang out and stuff like that while y'all were practicing. Um and then I think at one point it was like a week or two before the show, I was like, "Hey, like if you just want another guitarist to like fill out the sound on your live show, I'd be happy to do it." And at that point, I think you were like, man, I've already learned all these parts like
That was the thing
specifically for one guitar.
when you offered that, my first reaction in my head was like, "Oh, that'd be amazing." But then I was like, "Oh shit, I've spent 3 months trying to figure out how to like play rhythm and lead and
Yeah,
go
how to
back
do
and
it
forth
one
and
part.
yeah, and like I was like, I just don't know if I have enough time to trick my brain into not doing that."
Totally.
So,
But like ultimately, we just hung out that weekend several days in a row and like I think everybody just kind of clicked. Um
I
it
remember
just
it just being like
it just was natural, yeah.
the chillest time ever and you guys were all super great and people need to realize if you like fire sale, some people, I can hear them turning off the dial because they don't care. But the dial, there's no fucking dial, whatever.
Yeah.
But like we none of us really knew each other. Like
Right.
that
Not to the
was
point of like knowing, yeah, not
I
we
met
knew of each
Riddle.
other.
Yeah, I met Riddle in like the late '90s at Warp Tour when my band played Warp Tour, and that was before the
Yeah.
Ataris even. So like, and he doesn't remember that. Of course, why would he remember it? Some kid coming up to him,
Yeah.
or not kid, but younger than him, coming up to him at backstage saying, "Hey, I like your band." And but I did
That's
get to know
10 people
Rory.
every show or more.
Yeah, I did get to know Rory, his drummer, really well, and Rory's been on the podcast, and that's kind of how I got hooked up with Riddle. And then Riddle and I, after he was on, we just kept talking. And then when I started doing fire sale stuff, he was interested and Pedro and I had done a couple little things together, like here and there, and he was interested, and we just couldn't
I love
find it.
that story.
We couldn't find a drummer that really like stuck. We had a guy named Will that we were buddies with that was kind of like a session guy that played on the first two songs. And then my buddy Paul joined, but my buddy Paul was really busy and he couldn't go record or anything. And so then I told the story on the podcast with your cousin. I was like, I wanted Matt to be the drummer.
Yeah.
And I was worried, like, I'm never anxious, I'm never nervous, I'm blunt, I just don't really care. But I was worried about what they would say, oh, we need to vote or whatever. And so finally one day I just texted the group chat and I said, hey, Matt Morris is going to be our new drummer, check him out. And I like sent a link to what something he played. And then like
Nice.
everybody hearted it, and Riddle's like, that sounds good to me, like everything was cool. So then
Yeah.
with you, I'll kind of give my 2 cents and I want you to fill in the rest. When we went to Texas for that first time and we got to really know each other and play together for the first time, you were just always there.
hmm
And
I was fanboying. I was just hanging around.
and I talked to you a bunch on the internet. You're the one that like got me kind of in the circle of you and your friends,
Yeah.
because you were
Yeah.
doing that song with Jarrett. You're doing the Descendant song for Just Like Them, it's Clean Sheets
hmm
with Jarrett from Bowling for Soup. And you're like, you reached out and said, hey, do you want to play this solo? And I remember I told your cousin when we were talking, I was like, I was so mad during quarantine because no one asked me to do one of those things.
That's
And I mean,
funny.
I'm like prime real estate. I've got a recording studio in my house. I love this shit. I'm in the music scene, like, but nobody asked me. And then you finally asked me, and I was so stoked. And Jarrett's my buddy. So it was like even doubly cool. And
I think maybe you had just had him on the podcast or something like around that time,
he was
or
on
maybe I
there.
had maybe went back and listened to one or something. But
He was
when
on
we
mine or I was on his because he has the
he
Rockstar Dads. I was on that.
I think it was on yours,
Yeah.
maybe. But I remember I think at the time, because there was a lull. You guys talked about that with Matt, but like we had everything recorded, and then it took a while for Jarrett to get his video for whatever. He just had a bunch of stuff going on. Um, and I had already recorded the solo, like the song was done. And then I think I heard him on your podcast, and I was like, dude, why don't I should like they're buddies? Why don't I get Chris on there? And then the rest is history.
Well, no, I just remember I was really nervous when I harmonized the last part of the solo because it made it sound a little Iron Maidenish. And
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. That's
when
all
I
right though.
when I sent it to you guys, and I was just worried you guys are gonna be like, well, it's cool, but we're not gonna add the harmony. But then it made me so happy because not only did you leave the harmony in, or Davi left the harmony in, but Jarrett in the video, like he like
Yeah, yeah,
does
yeah.
like the fake little guitar thing during the solo. So yeah, that was a really good experience, man. And like I was a big fan of what you guys did anyway, because I'm a huge Descendants fan and a huge All fan. And
Yeah.
every time you guys would somehow we were all friends on Facebook. I don't know how.
I'm sure I just looked you up from the podcast and or you got suggested, or
Yeah, I
somehow.
mean, I have no idea. I just know that like we had mutual friends, and then all of a sudden we were all friends. I don't know who added who or what, but I always saw the videos and I saw the What in Tarnation stuff you guys are doing with
hmm
Scott Reynolds. Like, and I remember before I ever talked to you or Morris, I checked out 41 Gorgeous Blocks. I checked out Weaver Street. Like, you guys were just kind of in my like on my radar as someone that had similar interests as me. And then when you
Yeah.
asked me to do that, I'm like, hell yeah, man. And then that got me talking to your cousin, and then he got in the band. And okay, so we're in Texas. You're
Yeah.
hanging out with us at the studio. You tell about like being in the video and everything. I think I might have talked to you about it before, but I want to know like how it all felt and
I'm
what you
trying to
thought of
remember
it.
how the video thing came about because y'all recorded that at the same time, right? That same weekend.
That same weekend, yeah, and Jarrett was supposed to be the clerk
That's
at the
right.
at the record shop.
That's right. That's right. I totally. And then his kid had like a baseball tournament, or
His
so they ended
kid
up
had a
winning
base.
a
He
tournament.
he thought his kid's team wasn't gonna win,
Yeah.
and like at the very last moment, he's like, "Oh, my kid's team won. They're in a championship. I can't really make it." And we didn't want to be like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's your kid, man. Go. We understand. And then Joe Harris, our director, got an amazing guy. Bobby, I think was his
Bobby,
name.
yeah,
Bobby was so
Bobby
good. Like
crushed it.
Jarrett would have been great, but Bobby crushed it.
Yeah, but Jarrett would have been great, like just for recognition and obviously his humor and everything. But Bobby just being Bobby back there was hilarious.
I think what happened was that first, because we did the video the day of the show.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it, that morning?
Yeah. So I think we got in like Thursday and we jammed a little bit. You came over, and then Friday we jammed some more, and you came over Friday as well. And I think Friday is when we were like, we knew like the premise of the video. Like I think Riddle and I and Joe had all kind of, and even Seth from Negative Progression had like kind of written the treatment and like threw ideas in. And we knew that there was going to be like a funny clerk guy at the store, and then there was going to be someone that we played for that was going to like a patron of the store. But
Yeah,
I don't think we knew who that was going to be when we flew to Texas. And then you
I
just
don't remember how that came about, honestly.
I
Like
just
how
I
did I
think
end up
that
there?
I think Friday when we were hanging out with you and we got to know you, we're like, hey, do you want to be in the video? We need someone to be the patron.
Yeah,
I think that's what happened.
yeah, I really don't remember, funny enough. But that was so fun. That was just a goofy experience. I love it.
Dude, that seems like yesterday, and that was like 3.5 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
Yeah.
insane. We've been a
It's so
band.
weird
We've
too
been a
because that
band for
Fool's Errand video popped.
6.5 years. We've been a band.
Seriously?
We started the band and started recording stuff in
In 2020,
2020.
right?
And then our first 7 inch with the two Mercy Brown and Dark Hearts came out in 2021.
That's insane. Time is nuts.
I know.
Um,
You've been in the band for 3.5 years.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I
And
don't even know
we've
what day it
played
is
like
anymore. I
12
don't know what time
shows.
it is anymore.
We've played like 10 or 12 shows in 3 years.
I know. Pretty cool. A bunch of cool shows too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know how that came up, but I remember when you guys were here, um, I just remember like me and Riddle were just like sitting out front, like under the stars, looking at the little like rocking chairs. We sat out there for hours just talking. Olivia was there, and like Riddle and Olivia, my daughter, like they were talking about like Ren Fair stuff and like just
Yeah.
connecting on these cool levels where just man, it just felt like everybody was family. Like everything just
I
felt
think that's
really
what surprised
normal.
me. That surprised me more than anything else because I remember when I got on the plane, my wife was like, "Do you know these people?" Like she knew what Fire Sale was. Like she knew I was writing songs with people on the internet, and like we got a deal and we're putting stuff out, but
Yeah.
she's not like from this scene, right? So like she was like, "Are they gonna like murder you? Like you're staying at somebody's house? Like do you know them?" And the funny thing was, I like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, don't worry. But then like halfway there on the plane, I'm like, I don't know these people.
Yeah, other than Riddle, like Riddle's got recognition, but yeah, it's like I don't really know anybody
Yeah,
else.
Riddle's got recognition, but I don't know if Riddle's a serial killer.
That's a good point. Yeah, he could be an underground one. We'd never know.
But no, that's the thing, man, because when I was in my 20s, maybe early 30s, and I'm touring around and sleeping at people's houses and doing all like, I didn't think twice. But now, like,
Yeah,
I'm in my 40s with kids and a mortgage, and I'm like, I don't
you
know
think about
these.
stuff a lot heavier.
And like, am I going to get killed when I get to Texas? I don't want to die in Texas.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But you guys didn't kill me, and you guys were like the sweetest, nicest people in the world. And I don't think I could have had a better first experience like with this band becoming like a real thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it was interesting because you guys were there. I think what Thursday, Friday, maybe
Thursday, Friday,
Saturday. And
Saturday, Sunday. We flew out Sunday morning.
yeah. So, but by the time you guys left that weekend, you had already pretty much asked me to join.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but we'd all kind of discussed it.
Yeah.
And when we were doing our first set of like promo photos in the studio,
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
let's do one with Brad just for fun.
Yeah.
We did that on purpose
Yeah.
because it's as soon as you like said yes, I'm like, oh great, because we have photos with you now. So
Hmm.
No, we thought it was probably like before the show even started. I'd brought up to them like, hey, did you guys like Brad? I'm like, oh yeah, he's fucking great. And I'm like, well, he said that he would, fill in to make the sound better, but I didn't really think we could get it together in time. And Riddle's like, does he want to be in the band? I'm like, yeah. And so it was like all we had to do was just kind of chill until we got home and
Yeah.
make
I
sure
know it
that it
was a
was going to
little
be
while before
real.
we did actually announced it. We had talked about it, but I think it was a couple months afterwards before we you know, made it
Well,
official. There was
because
some reason and I can't
we had
remember why.
just
There
we
was
had just released the 7-inch.
Yeah, that's right. It
So
was the Fool's Errand 7-inch.
yeah, so the thing was it's like we
We were
have
letting that
this
simmer.
we have this like cycle of trying to, the people that are going to buy it are going to buy it, and then we're going to try to push it again with the video.
Yep.
And we were just like, we don't want to throw too much news at people. We want them
Yes,
to
that's right.
get comfortable getting the stuff they're getting, and then like, oh, we have a new member, like.
Yeah, that's right. I just remember it being a couple months, and we're like, okay, we're gonna, on whatever day it was, we'll make that announcement or use that as
And then you
new
got to
new news.
play on the Albatross was your first release.
Yeah. Yep.
And you
It was
had
so
some
fun.
really, really good ideas that I didn't think of. Like, sometimes I add so many guitars, I think it might be kind of hard to like find your place, right? And
Totally.
the
Yeah.
thing that you did was you just kind of played another rhythm and you tuned down to D. So when I was hitting those like D5 chords, you were hitting the low D5
Hmm.
chords, and it filled it up so great. And I remember after that, because I knew you were a good guitar player and I like the songs you've written in your other bands and everything. But when I got those tracks back and I was editing everything before we sent it off to the blasting room, I was like, oh, that's low D. That's not just normal. Like, and it made everything because Riddle's
Well,
being
because
busy.
Riddle's going, yeah, exactly, because he's all over the place. And the way I thought it was like, well, something needs to hold that. It's kind of a dark song to begin with.
Yeah.
Like something needs to hold that low end. So like, we'll just try it. I'm like an eighth grader tuning down to drop D, and it's like, ooh. But
Well, but it worked and it sounded, I mean, it's a really cool production trick that I've done a lot with other bands when I've produced their records.
I
Like
love drop D, as
you
cringy
want
as
you
that
want
is.
to
But
try to fill up the frequency, right?
yeah,
Someone's playing up high and then the bass player is going crazy,
yep.
there's got to be something there, some kind of foundation.
So like in Vultures, I do drop D there too. I don't remember. I was trying to remember on the one that is about to come out. I
Oh,
feel like on
I feel like you did something in D too.
I might have on that one
I
because
don't
it's
think it
kind of
was
that
kill
same.
I don't think it was Kill the Noise though, was it? Because
That's the one I was thinking of, but I can't remember. I listened to both of them today on the way home after I was listening to your podcast with Matt. It's
I
like, yeah,
had
I need
a
to listen to those masters again.
yeah, I had a conversation with Seth last night and they've been sent off to the pressing plant and I was like, "Well, when are we doing digital? Because we normally do digital before, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm doing everything at once. As soon as they're done, we're doing everything."
Oh,
So
cool.
so as soon like we're gonna, hey, new songs are out, you can order it. So
Yep. Very cool. These two, I'm so excited about these two also.
it's gonna be great, man. And the core is on the split with us, and they're a really, really
Yeah, and
good
they're
band.
awesome.
Yeah, they're great,
I
man.
met them at Music for Cancer. Spent not a bunch of time with them, but we hung in Artist World together, and for a lot of time.
Danny, the singer,
Yeah.
he's on an acoustic tour right now in Canada with Chuck from Hot Water Music.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I would love to go to that, man. I'm a big Hot Water fan. Are you a Hot Water Music fan?
I can't say I've ever heard a single song from them.
You
As
would
bad
you
as that
would
is to say, I'm gonna get flamed, but
it's not a bad thing to say. I mean, Hot Water Music for me, like I got into them really young because I mean they've been a band for like 30 years or whatever.
yeah, I mean I've heard of them forever.
The thing
I just
about
am
Hot
not familiar.
Water, I think the music for you, you'd be like, oh, this is great. But
Hmm.
the vocals they've got like you either love it or hate it kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's kind of like, do you ever listen
Yeah,
to
I mean
the
I've heard of them forever. It's just one of those bands that just never hit my radar for some reason.
well, I think one thing that I like about our band too is that we all kind of dig and are influenced by different stuff.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I'm the propaganda thrice Metallica, like whatever guy, no effects too a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think you and your cousin are a little more on the like, I know pop punk sounds like a bad term or whatever,
Yeah,
but
totally though.
that's kind of like you guys are into the more kind of poppy side of stuff,
Hmm.
and even like,
I mean,
did this.
I was 13 when Dookie came out. I mean, I was like the target audience for that.
Yeah. I mean, I
Which,
love
a
that
lot of people are
stuff.
going to hear that and go, "Oh my God, I hate that." But
No, don't get me wrong, man. I love that stuff. I've always been a Green Day fan. I mean,
yeah,
how old are you right now?
I don't even know, 45
Okay, so
or I'll be 45 this year.
I'll be 48 this year. So I'm two and a half,
Yeah.
3 years older than you. So yeah, when
Yeah.
Dookie came out, I was like just got my driver's license. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, so I love all that stuff, but I was like thrash metal before that.
Yeah.
And even like hate breed and like down by
I
what
didn't
was
get into
it?
anything deeper than what was on MTV. Like, if it, Metallica, like I loved it. I had all the tab books and
How deep
um
how deep did you go though? Because like for me, I got into punk rock because Metallica had Misfits shirts on. So
so
I went and bought Misfits stuff, and then through that kind of found Black Flag and then worked my way forward and got into No Effects. And then it was like Offspring and Green Day.
yeah, yeah.
And then you look in their liner notes and it's like, who's Pennywise? Who's
Hmm.
Rancid? Like, and then Rancid got really big. And like, so I kind of like, I had a little time before punk broke to where I like some of that older weird, like not weird, but like it's kind of hard to listen to sometimes because the production's not really good, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, for some reason, when I was a like 10, 11-year-old kid that bought Legacy of Brutality by the Misfits and I liked it. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
liked it, but I did. And I loved like
See, I was like on the grunge side of things.
I love grunt, dude. I was like, I consumed all of it.
Yeah. But again, never really got any deeper than just like surface level MTV.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
get that.
because I was like 11, 12 years old, and before
Well,
that it was
maybe it's
gangster
because
rap.
I was 3 years older than you because I was digging a little deeper.
Well, what's funny is like my wife and I are almost 2 years apart. She's almost 2 years younger than me. And it's even that gap. There's such strange overlap of music that like we didn't share, even just being 2 years apart like that. Um,
Dude, my wife and
but
I are 12 years apart.
yeah, I know.
And well, and I'm saying like there's been these times where I think I've told this story to you before, but like I have a playlist on Spotify that I always like. It's just my playlist. It's got like 800 songs on it. And
Hmm.
when I'm taking a shower or whatever, I just play it on my phone while I'm in the shower. And one day, like Taking Back Sunday was playing, which I'm a little bit older than most people that probably got into that kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the
Hmm.
emo, whatever stuff. But playing in the Ataris, we played shows with them and kind of got to know them, like Eddie and all those guys. And so like because you get to be friends with a band and you hear them a bunch because you're playing shows with them, it's not that like I was an emo kid. It's that I just liked those guys and I liked their band. So then my wife heard that one day and she goes, "Are you listening to Taking Back Sunday?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I listened to that in middle school."
Oh, how funny. That's
And
so
I was like,
funny.
"Well, I played shows with him. That's why I like him because there's like
Yeah.
this gap." And like I don't think she's ever seen, maybe she has seen Goonies. I can't remember. But like once in a while there'll be a movie where I'm like, "You've never seen Back to the Future?" You know? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but it's funny though how I kind of ventured into punk. It was a weird progression because again, it was all, I mean, me, Tanner, and Matt just like watched MTV all the time. So all we did. So it was like went from like Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, all that stuff,
Alice in
and then
Chains.
yeah, and then Green Day, kind of got big. You start seeing that, and then Tanner and I both got into like aggressive inline skating, ramps and rails and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When we were like 14, 15, somewhere, just after around that 1994 range. And we had a we had a skate video that had come out, and like the first true punk rock song that I ever heard outside of like mainstream was Sold Out by NoFX and
Wow.
Unknown Road by Pennywise. Like those two, they're still ingrained in my memory because they were on this video. And I remember Tanner and I both were just like, "What is this? This is amazing."
Unknown Roads got that
Um,
cool like filtered out piano entry
yeah,
intro.
I learned how to
That's
play that like forever ago. I still play it all the time.
well, and you've got the actual like longer version as the hidden track on Full Circle as well. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
I forgot about that, but yeah.
God, do you remember
Is it
hidden
at the beginning?
tracks?
Is it one of those things where you back it up or something like that?
No, no, it's hidden tracks on CDs, like the last track on
No,
a
I know.
CD.
But some of them if you go to the first track and rewind, like Less Than Jake has that.
Yeah,
You could
that was
go
another thing you could
backwards
do.
even.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, I remember that now. But like, dude, stuff like that, kids nowadays don't know
I miss
anything
that stuff,
about.
dude.
I miss the fact that people used to listen to whole albums.
Yeah.
Like we're getting ready, your cousin and I talked a lot about the full length that we're getting ready to do. And I think it's a good idea, but I've also really enjoyed doing the singles because then it's like you put out your bangers
Hmm.
and people dig them. Like we're going to put out 10 or 12 songs and I like everything on that list of demos and I everybody else seems to like it, but who knows, man? Maybe
I mean, not everybody's going to. It's
well,
just
that's the kind of the fear that I have. I mean, I
hmm.
really don't care because we're doing it for us, but I want people to like it.
Yeah.
But like that new song I sent you guys that was like, in 6/8 time and
Yeah, super
it
weird.
it's not like we're switching genres, but it's not normally what we do.
I would say like a lot of what you're writing now is like very propaganda influenced. It sounds very more modern propaganda where there's lots of like dropouts and just some more like almost like ambient almost sounds, over or under the vocals.
Well, I've
Um
always been a big fan too, and I don't know how versed you are with bands like Super Heaven, but like I love that like
no.
even like Hum back in the day and some of the early Deftone stuff that wasn't like so crazy like incredibly like heavy and brutal. Like I like that kind of heavy shoegazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like
My musical funnel is so incredibly narrow. It's like whatever I listened to up to like 1999 basically is still what I listen to right now. Like it's so there's only been a handful of bands I can think of off the top of my head that I've gotten into like post high school. It's weird as that sounds.
can you name a couple?
Um Masked Intruder, definitely. Um Teenage Bottle Rocket. They may have been around in the 90s. I just didn't discover them until
I
later.
I don't think they were like very accessible though. I think like they were probably just
Yeah,
doing it
kind of
DIY
had to
style.
know.
Yeah.
Um and I don't know, there's whatever. I don't know if they got canceled or something. Who gives a shit? Like
Well, some shit went down.
I
Some
still love
some
them.
some
It is what it
allegations.
is.
People give me shit all the time because I always, I try to separate the art from the artist, you
Yep.
know? And for one thing, like I know those guys and
Same. Yeah, I've met them all and they're super freaking cool.
they're super cool to me, but you never know when allegations
Yeah.
come up if they're
Yeah.
true or if they're false. You're supposed to believe, the
Yep.
victims and I do, but I also like, I grew up watching Roseanne on
Yeah.
TV. And as much as I don't really like her how she is now and she's, you know, spouting racist
It's still
stuff
a
on
great
on
show.
Twitter, I still watch Roseanne whenever it's on
Yeah, the
like
freaking
Nick
Cosby
Nick
show,
at
dude.
Night or something. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
But I still kind of watch that sometimes whenever it's like
Yeah.
I'm flipping through the channels.
The show is great.
Well, and I mean,
But I love Teenage Bottle Rocket. Their energy, their shows are so good. Like
yeah.
they're just very I just enjoy them. And then I'm trying to think anybody else just. quickly off the top of my head, but Masked Intruder is one that just blew me away when I first heard them. Um, it's the most catchiest stuff ever.
But like I like that because you that kind of falls in line with what you listened to prior.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, similar
very
sound.
kind of sugary punk, which is really
Yep.
cool. I love that because here's how I think our band kind of breaks down. Riddle and I are both metalheads, and so like there's a part of that in there, even though sometimes it's not super apparent. Maybe it's like an approach to playing a riff or something that's a little bit more metallic. And then, you and your cousin are kind of in that vein of that pop kind of sugary punk stuff, which I love that because when you mix those two things together, you get bands like Propagandhi and you get bands like
Hmm.
Strung Out because there are pop elements to those bands. And then there are also like metallic skate punk elements to those bands.
Yeah, even like early Lagwagon and stuff too
Yeah.
was very metal.
And then we've got Pedro who, writes the melodies for the vocals and everything. And he's got a really good pop sensibility.
Hmm.
I think it's a really cool mixture of stuff
Yeah.
going on.
And we don't, I would say that our band, we don't stick to one thing either. It's like
Oh.
every song doesn't sound like the next one.
Well, I'll tell you right now, when this full length gets finished, a lot, a lot of those songs. I mean, the majority of them are things that I wrote musically. There's some Riddle stuff on there too, and I still want you to get involved. I think you at least need a couple on there, but I listened to my like list of demos the other day. I hadn't really gone through them in a long time because like I'll write another one, I'll send it to you guys, I'll listen to it a bunch, and then I just kind of forget about the rest. It's
Yeah.
like just write one and then move on and write one and move on. But I went through them the other day and I'm like, there's some fast punky stuff. There's some groovy kind of mid-tempo stuff. There's some oddball stuff that kind of almost sounds grungy. Like there's a lot of weird stuff. You were talking about, no one's heard it, so I can use the name. But I think you mentioned that song, The Forlorn Hope, that I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind
Kind of
of
starts acoustic and then comes into like a mid tempo.
like I
Yeah.
thought when I wrote that, I'm like, I wrote a hit. And then it's
I
been on the
love that song.
SoundCloud for like 4 years.
And it's at the very bottom of the list too. Like
Yeah,
it's one of it had to have been one of the first ones.
I need to put it up at the top of the list.
But
But
it's very, very good. And I love that acoustic kind of jam that it kind of starts out with. It reminded me of like FOD, like again, going back to Green Day. It just kind of starts out acoustic.
yeah,
It doesn't stay acoustic that long, um, but then it just comes in and it's a cool like mid-tempo groove. Um, it just something about that one stuck with me. And then that other one I mentioned that I said that I was just going through them listening for like, okay,
we,
what
you
jumps out at me?
you said Revolution Bummer first, which is one
Yeah.
that I wrote, but then I think you meant Quick and Painful, which is a Riddle song.
Quick and Painful would have been the end one. What? Because I
Okay.
was Seth yelled at me because I was talking about sequencing, but I was more like I was just going through the list, listening to like 30 seconds of each song
But dude,
to see what grabbed me immediately.
here's the thing, like I'm itching to work on this and I know how busy Pedro is and we can't really do much until like the songs have vocals, right?
Totally, yeah.
So the idea for me, like sequencing is a good idea because if you listen to the episode I did with Matt, we were kind of talking about I want to reference records that we really love because I want to like, have a real strong opener and then like what do you do in slot number two, what do you do in slot number three, like I,
Yeah.
I want it to kind of, even though people are single driven and they might not listen to the whole thing all the way through, I do want it to have that old school vibe, like records that we grew up with,
Hmm.
that there was like the sequencing made sense to like
Yeah,
tell a story
they'd
or
spend a week on sequencing in the studio. Like it has to be right on a full length.
what I want to do is if we figure out if we're going to have 10, 11, 12, however many songs we're going to have. And I want to, with all of our favorite records that we love, that they worked a lot on sequencing, I want to have like 1 through 12. And then I want to name each spot what it has to be, like energetic opener,
Mm.
you know, ballady,
And that's
slow.
kind of what I was looking at. Like, what?
So then we
which
just pick and
song?
choose the songs out of the list that we have that go into those
Yeah,
slots.
exactly. But as I was listening down that list, I was specifically looking for one that jumped out at me as like this is an opening track. Like this that opening track needs to set the tone for the entire album.
See, I
Um,
think if we can nail down which one is the opener and which one is the closer, the other pieces will fall into place.
yeah, and that's kind of exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But
Because that's the most
I
important.
retract
I
my
mean,
statement.
if people are going to listen to the album in full, like sit down and listen to the whole fucking album, the opener needs to grab your attention and the closer needs to kind of put the period at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, and make you want to repeat
Yeah.
that playlist back to the first.
Then we'll just have to pick a song where I do my songwriting trick where you end in a suspended chord.
Yes,
We've talked
yes,
about that, right?
yeah, like a dissonant,
Well,
suspended,
but because people,
no resolve.
yeah, when you play a suspended chord, there's no resolution. So in your mind, even though you don't know it, it makes you want to have that resolution. So you want to hit
Hmm.
play again, like repeat it. I love
Yep.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too.
So, okay. So I want to talk to you then about, let's see how we're doing on time because we're doing a lot of talking. Okay.
Yeah, we
We
got
talked
time.
a lot about music. I went over a lot with your cousin. Full length's being worked on. It's going to be out next year. We're going to go to Europe next year. We're going to go to Canada again next year. There's been some talk about going to Australia, hopefully with Pulley. I don't think I'm talking out of step. It's nothing's been confirmed, but it has been discussed.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
awesome.
and we're really excited about that because we want to go to new places and meet new people and spread the stuff all around. But I want to get your takes on some things that are not music related.
Okay.
Okay. So I love weird stuff, time travel, aliens, and I don't know how well do you like that stuff? Are you interested in
I
that?
love, I mean, if I were to share my screen, like half of my YouTube recommended is like that kind of space stuff and just stuff that like makes your brain
Do
work.
you ever watch the Y Files?
I think so. Is that
It's
on
that
YouTube?
guy in his fish that he does a voiceover for his goldfish.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so weird,
It's awesome, man. I love it.
but it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
that that's what it was.
I'm gonna run a couple things by you. First off, there's been all this stuff where they're releasing the UAP UFO
Mm,
files. And I mean, I've seen they've really some of them are kind of cheesy and dumb, and it's like, okay, whatever, that's a balloon or whatever. But some of them
yeah.
are like pretty crazy. And
Hmm.
they're supposed to release more of them in June and then more of them in July. Do you think that we're working towards actual disclosure? Because I mean, congressmen, naval officers, all these people are like they're real. There's four different species of extraterrestrials. Some of them are interdimensional. Like people smarter than us that work for our government that aren't like the corrupt part of the government are coming forward.
Right.
And like Republican Congress people
Yeah.
are coming forward and saying they've seen non-human biologics and all this stuff. What do you think about that? Where do you think it's heading? Do you think
Well,
it's bullshit?
I could get into a very long political conversation, but I'm gonna try
We'll
to keep
keep the
that aside.
politics. Yeah, let's just keep it UFOs.
Yeah, because well, so to sort of keep the politics out of it, but still tell you where my brain is at. I mean, a lot of it could be very much just distraction. So
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that. Um,
but
you know,
here's the thing
they
that
could
I've
have reason to want to distract, but hey, it is what it is.
well, I've thought about this though too. Like, yes, they want to distract from Epstein and all that
There
crap,
you go.
but does that mean it's fake?
Exactly. So like yeah, maybe maybe because they want to distract from
Yeah.
that, maybe we get some cool stuff out of it. You know, maybe we get some JFK info that we didn't have before, or maybe we, because they want to put up all these distractions.
There
But
was a second
um,
shooter on the grassy knoll.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's funny because I can remember I was in ninth grade and I remember the moment my brain was like, "Oh my God!" Like I was in I think it was biology class, and somehow the topic of aliens or does other people, life form exist outside of here and all this other stuff. It was one of those things I never put any thought into. Just as an eighth grade, ninth grade person, it's like, yeah, cool, aliens, whatever. Um, but I remember my science teacher, who, you know, you got to respect a science teacher, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's their gig. He was like, I'm trying to remember the exact way he explained it, but talking about how, we are like one floating rock around this one star, you know? And then you look out there and there's billions and billions and billions of stars that we can't even like access or have anything, any knowledge of. He's like, there's absolutely no way that we're the only thing that lives when we're just one little tiny thing around one singular star.
Well,
And
then
like
that
when he said that, I was like, holy crap, like
dude,
that is
that
so true.
that brings me to my next thing. Have you ever heard of the Fermi paradox?
Probably, but not by name.
Okay,
But I would bet I have.
Enrique Fermi. Enrique Fermi was this like scientist dude back in the, I don't even know, maybe 40s, something like that. It doesn't say in my notes that I wrote down. But
Okay.
basically, the Fermi paradox, it says it's a concept that asks why we have found no evidence of aliens despite the universe's immense age and size. It has a solution called the dark forest theory, which suggests advanced civilizations intentionally hide to avoid destruction, and the great
Mm,
filter theory, which proposes an evolutionary bottleneck that where civilizations get to a point where they can destroy themselves and therefore they never create interstellar travel.
yeah.
So they
Yeah, like by
exist
the time you get so
everywhere.
advanced, it just crumbles upon itself in a
Yeah,
sense.
or we have never found them because they're intentionally hiding from us because we're like savages that kill each other and have wars and shit.
Yeah, I mean, again, and at the same time, like our technology is not obviously there enough to get to places that could harbor that life. So
Dude,
it's
it
just
takes
like,
us 6 months to get to Mars.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, maybe they're who knows billions of years more advanced than we are, and maybe they have the technology to come here. But like you said, like maybe they're not because they just don't want to.
Well, what
Um,
have you ever heard of the zoo theory?
Again, probably, but I probably don't know by name.
The zoo theory is that because there's all this weird stuff like, okay, so humans are the only animal on this planet that is not perfectly evolved for their environment. We have to cook our food. We have to have fires to stay warm.
Oh, okay, okay.
We there's so many diseases and viruses and things that can kill us. Like, squirrels don't cook their food. Tigers
Yeah, they
don't
just
cook their food. Like, we're the only thing, and our circadian rhythm, I think is what it is matched perfectly to Mars and not the Earth. Like, Earth's 24-hour clock
oh, weird.
and Mars is like 25.6 or so. I'm getting all these wrong. If I'm wrong, put the right ones in
Yeah,
the
but it's like
comments.
a
Like,
yeah, it's
we're more in tune to the time on Mars than we are here.
oh, interesting.
So I'm not saying we're from Mars. Maybe we are. That's another theory. But
Yeah.
the zoo theory is that some higher intelligence beings
Mm,
put us here, and the Earth is our enclosure. And we're basically
mm.
like they fly by and check us out to see how we're doing, like we do when we go to zoos and we look in the monkey exhibit or whatever.
Yeah, it's that whole kind of like living in a simulation thing, right? Like
Dude,
it's a similar concept.
I love that you
That
said
somebody
that.
has their hand over us right now and making decisions. It's
I
just I mean, it's all super brainy, like
Well, I'm going to give you the brainiest thing, and you just said that, and it segues perfectly into the one that I've read like two or three books on it. It blows my mind, and I'm starting to like really understand it, and it makes sense when you think about it. It's called quantum immortality. You ever heard of that?
not by name.
Okay, quantum
But I've
immortality.
heard so many things and watched so many things that I
Yeah,
can't remember what everything is.
when one of them really like strikes a chord with me, like I write the shit down because I don't want to
Yeah,
forget it. But
yeah.
quantum immortality, it proposes that you can never subjectively experience your own death. When you face a fatal event, the universe splits and your consciousness continuously shifts to an alternate reality where you survive. You can, other people die, but those people
Like
that
within
died,
that reality.
yeah, it's like it's kind of like the simulation thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the multiple worlds kind of thing, like this, like string theory and all that, where there's
Hmm.
many different realities and different universes, to where you never experience your own death, because when you die, your consciousness shifts to another reality where you didn't die.
That's insane if that's like
So
it is
like
a it's again, it's just a thing that will keep you up at night.
okay, so let's say Chris Farley died in 1997 or 96, one of those two.
Somewhere in there.
We experienced that because we're not him, but he never experienced it, because when he died, his his reality shifted right at the point of death to where he didn't die, and he's still living in another reality, and we're in the reality where he died.
It's it's crazy. I like it's crazy to think about. I don't know where any of that theory would get its legs. Like, why would that theory come about? Like, what's the science behind that theory other than somebody just saying, "Oh man, what if this happened?" Um,
I think from the books that I read about this, there is some like pretty solid math and science in it.
yeah,
They use special
that's awesome.
relativity from Einstein. They use a lot of stuff. And part of it goes,
Dang.
now I'm paraphrasing this, but I want to get your take on it. Okay. The different dimensions thing, when someone says like something is 2D, that's like you wrote it on a piece of paper. And then
Right.
when it's 3D, it's like you see it as a real
It's
thing.
this.
Well,
Yeah.
that's 4D. You're holding it.
Ah, okay.
3D looks like you could grab it, but it just looks 3D.
Oh, okay. Like on a piece, like a cube on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've done this thing where, okay, so we have four, I think 5D might be something else that we can do where it's like something with sound and whatever. But that's where we stop. There's no
Hmm.
6D, 7D, 8D, 9D. There's none of that. But with the theory of special relativity, with Einstein and all the math and everything, they've done all this math and they've figured out that all of it works with our reality, our base reality, the laws of physics and everything, but there has to be 11 dimensions. But those dimensions that are part of the math, they're dimensions that we don't have access to. It's higher than us. Like imagine you're a bluegill swimming in a pond, right? You've only been alive for a couple weeks. You're eating whatever crap you eat in a pond, and you're swimming around playing with your friends, and you're just a bluegill having fun. And then one day you see a worm and you're like, oh man, it's lunchtime. And you go bite down on that worm, and all of a sudden you feel a stab in your lip. And then all of a sudden you're in this new place where there's no water and you're gasping and you can't breathe.
Mm.
And then you see, well, there's this huge, like, alien looking being that's holding me in its hand, and it rips the hook out of my mouth and then it throws me back in the water. We're in a dimension higher than that fish.
Okay.
So those other dimensions past what we know of, that make the math work for all the shit they've figured out about physics and special relativity, there are those, up to 11 dimensions that are higher than us. And that's where a lot of these people, like the congressman Burchett and all these
Yeah.
people, are saying that they're not aliens, they're interdimensional.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole concept of all that is so thought provoking.
You've got to
And it's
wrap
one of
your
those
brain
things
around it.
that
It's hard, man.
so much. And I love it because my two middle kids, my two boys, they are so obsessed with science and space and they're 6 and 9.
Yeah.
Um, and like every night they ask different questions. Well, how does this happen if this and I was literally just talking to Jill about this a couple nights ago, like how I love that they ask those questions. They always ask it at bedtime, but it's like, I would love to talk about this 2 hours ago, but um it makes me very happy that they're thinking that way
Yeah.
at an early age and asking questions that require them to just really like explore what different things could be. I love it. I
Do
love that
you
whole topic.
do you think, I mean, do you think in our lifetime we'll know the truth about all this shit? Yeah, I mean, maybe in our kids' lifetime.
Man, that's hard.
Because
So
do
as
you
far as like
think that
knowing
they
the
have
truth,
definitive proof? Like these people are seeing something.
yeah.
Like
I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff.
That Burchett guy was like taken to Area 51 and like shown they have breeding
Hmm.
programs with humans and extraterrestrials that, you know, they were he said this, a congressman said, like, because
Yeah.
the guy that he was talking to on CNN's like, well, where are they getting the people for the breeding? And he said from the caravan coming up to cross the border out of Mexico.
Oh wow.
They're stealing them. This guy works for the government and he's a Republican. He's not some,
Yeah,
like,
that's
those
yeah.
people don't talk about this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They just
Yeah.
talk about Jesus and stuff. Maybe it's Jesus.
Jesus in stocks. Yeah.
Jesus and stocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
do you think
it
that
is
if it
crazy though. I
is
agree.
real, we will know? Do you think they will disclose it?
I hope so. Like if they truly have evidence, um, that is legit, real, and it's there. It's just being, hidden or, whatever. You would hope that somebody would have a deathbed, some sort of confession
Yeah.
or reveal or something. So I guess what I'm saying is like if the evidence already exists and it is real, I think yes, I think we would find that out in short order. I mean, I don't think it would even take long at this point.
Well,
Um,
well, I want to ask
but
you one last thing then, and this is kind of selfish of me. You worked for the Mavericks.
mhm.
Do you still have any friends there, and can you get me like tickets when the Pacers play?
um, I think I do still have friends there. So I didn't work there up until that wasn't when I left.
Yeah.
Whenever I lost my job, then I worked for the Mavericks in from like 2000. Uh, when was that? Like seven ish, 2007 to 2011. Funny story with that. So the year they won the championship, right?
Yeah, the
I
year they won
ran.
with Rick Carlisle, who's the coach of the Pacers now.
Yes, yes, yeah, and was before that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so I was working for the Mavericks front office, and we had decided that when we had our first kid, we were going to move to Wisconsin because Jill's sister was up there. It's like we had been visiting there for a long time, and where they live specifically was just super nice. It was like so slow paced. And it's like this is just an
The
amazing
cost of
place to raise
living
kids.
around here, because dude, Wisconsin's kind of close to where I'm at. Like
Yeah,
I can be in Chicago in 3 hours, and it's just a couple more hours to get to Wisconsin. And the
yeah.
cost of living, and it's just it's so chill, you know.
But we lived in La Crosse, which is like on the border of Minnesota, and it's a town on the Mississippi River. Um, so we actually lived on in the Minnesota side for a while, but super chill. There's like big bluffs everywhere, and it's not what you would expect when you think of Wisconsin. Um, so we had Olivia in uh February of 11, and then so we're like, okay, well, when the season we're gonna finish out the season with the Mavs, and then we'll move up there this summer. So I had to book our movers and all this stuff like way in advance, and it's like, okay, well, they weren't very good in 2011. I mean, they were good, but they weren't great. So it's like, okay, well, they're gonna get just destroyed by Portland in the first round. So like, we'll just plan it for the second round. After the first round, they'll probably get knocked or whatever. And so movers are set, date's done. I'd already kind of handed in my keys and all the things. Um, and then they win the first round. It's like, whoa, okay, hang on. And then they sweep the Lakers in the second round. I'm like, back to back champion Lakers, they sweep in the second round. And now I've moved. So now I'm watching this happen from afar. Um, they end up beating, I think it was OKC in the Western Conference Finals. They go on, they win the finals the a month after I left. So like poor planning on my part, I would have like a legit ring. I mean, it's not the player's ring, but
Well, but it's still a ring
all of
though.
my friends were meeting him at the airport when they came back, celebrating. They were they got legit rings. Like they have rings from working there. It's crazy. So my poor planning and lack of thinking they were going to do much cost me a ring.
Well, dude, so my son caught basketball fever last year when the Pacers went on their run. You
Love it.
know, got to the finals all the way to game seven. Tyrese Halliburton, tore his Achilles or whatever, and then OKC beat him by
Saddest
10
thing
or
ever.
whatever. Yeah. I honestly think if he wouldn't have gone down the way he was playing, it might have been a different turnout.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that say we would have won, but who
Hmm.
knows, man? He was playing
Definitely had
really
a chance.
he had like 9 points in the first 4 minutes. Like it could have been a big
Hmm.
thing. And I will tell you right now that I just got this notification that the Knicks just beat the Cavaliers in
Mm.
game 3, I think, or game 2. I don't know. And I always tell people that my favorite two teams are the Pacers and whoever plays the Knicks. So
Yeah.
I'm not a
Yeah. We
fan.
got
I'm
kind of
not
a
a
mutual
fan.
hatred for the Knicks too. Just like they're fine. And I like Brunson because he was here for a long time. But
Dude, the Mavericks this year, like I know it was kind of a disappointing year, but man, Cooper Flag.
yeah, but look what we had to get rid of to get him, in a way. Like that Luka trade is the worst trade that's ever happened in the history of sports. And I don't even think that's like debatable. I think that's legitimately the worst trade to ever happen in professional sports.
I'm hoping that, like, okay, if people out there aren't familiar, you might not be familiar, but the Pacers traded Benedict Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson to the Clippers for Ivica Zubac, and who's like
Hmm.
a big center guy, and Kobe Brown, who's a really good player, but he was like a bench guy on the Clippers,
Hmm.
and also an unprotected first round pick. And 2 weeks ago, they had the draft, the lottery,
Oh yeah,
and
they got screwed.
we lost our pick to,
Yeah.
we would have had like, 1 through 4, it was good, but we landed on 5 in the lottery. So the Clippers got it.
Yep.
But dude, the Pacers, people are already saying they're gonna maybe make a run next year. I hope so.
Yeah, if Halliburton comes back healthy, and I mean, you have Zubac now, right? I mean, that dude's
Yeah,
a
that dude's a
he's a
monster.
beast. I remember when the Mavs played the Clippers like 2 years ago in the Western, or maybe when they went to the finals, they went through the Clippers. I remember him popping up. He was always there. He was always in the middle of the play. Um,
Dude, the first time
but
that I
you got a
saw
good team.
him, first time that I ever saw him before they were ever talking about doing the trade or anything was last year. I just caught it on ESPN or whatever. It was the Clippers versus the Spurs.
Mm,
And it was him against Wimby. And Zubac against Wimby, he had like 24 points and 28 rebounds.
God,
That's insane.
that is insane against Wimby.
That's insane against anybody, let alone the alien
Speaking of
Wimby.
aliens,
Yeah,
yeah,
speaking of
there's one right
aliens,
there. Yeah, Wimby is not real. That's not a real person. There's no
dude,
way.
I know. Okay, so I don't know if you've been watching the Western Conference
Yeah.
semi or whatever, the Western Conference finals, but I had the Spurs from day one picked to win the whole thing. So and I mean, and plus it's OKC.
I hate OKC. Yeah.
I respect some of them. You know,
I don't respect the way they play. Like I just don't respect their game at all. Like no
I
parts
like
of it.
I like J Dubs, Jalen Williams. I like that guy. I've heard him in
Yeah,
interviews, and
good point.
I like how he is, and he always said really good things about the Pacers. And SGA, he's a good player, but man, I think
He foul baits. I mean, it is what it is.
Wemby or
But
Joker
all of the
should have got the MVP. That's how I feel.
mhm. Yeah, I agree 100%.
All the punk rock people have turned off their
They are
computers.
so far gone. They turned off when we were talking about fighter pilots.
Okay, well, Brad, I'm gonna call it a night, man. This has been a blast. I feel like I haven't seen you in a year, and then I also feel like I just hung out with you the other day. So
Hmm.
it's strange. Like I'll
Yeah.
go weeks without talking to you guys, then I'll send you a song or just say something in the group chat, and then it's like a long ass conversation. I don't know,
And
man.
everybody else is responding but me because I can't keep my head above water with work.
Well, you respond more than some of the other guys do. It's always, here's how it is. I send something Your cousin hearts it.
immediately because Matt always has his phone in his hand all the time.
Yeah, and then like maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, like Seth likes it. And then like maybe an hour later, Pedro will like it. And then the next morning you'll like it. And if I get really lucky, a week or two later, Riddle will like it.
Yeah. I was gonna say mine's usually like a week or two later. I'll catch up on the thread and be like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, this is what we're talking about. Hang on.
I don't blame
Um,
Riddle because Riddle's always like, you guys just start talking on the group chat, then I don't know where it started.
yeah, but he also works, I think, flip-flop
Yeah.
hours too. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he works
And
night shift or
he's in
something.
LA. So like
Yeah.
I'm texting you guys at 10 in the morning, it's 7 for him, you know.
Yeah, he just went to bed.
Yeah. Well,
So,
man,
but I miss you, buddy.
I miss you very, very much. And I love you, dude. And I hope that things are going to continue to go well with the business. And
Thank
I
you.
hope your family's doing well. Please give everybody my love. Tell them I said hello. And yeah, man, this was
Yeah, yours
fun.
too.
We'll do it again.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
Peace out, man.
Bye.
Bye.